Alright, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to another lesson. This is again lesson number 4, the very extensive lesson, I must say. And we're still doing the basics of nomenclature. We are finally going to talk about advanced alcohols, so alcohols where we have more than one OH group involved. I won't be going over rule number 1, 2, or 3. This is something we have already seen in the previous video. If you haven't seen that, I would recommend that you first go ahead and watch it before watching this video. Alright, so in this lesson, we will be focusing on point number 4, which says that in case of more than one hydroxyl group, so in case of more than one OH group in a molecule, what we need to do is that we will use terms like diol, triol. So we use diol when there are two hydroxyl groups and triol when there are three hydroxyl groups. All right, and we will name the alkane part fully. Now this might seem a bit weird, but let's see the examples, and definitely it will get inshallah more clear. Okay, so first of all, once again we start with the longest carbon chain. I see that there are two carbons involved, and so I know it's going to be bute. Now I can clearly see that we have two OH groups over here, right? So it's an alcohol. So what I can do is I can so my bad, yeah. So keeping rule number 4 in mind, we need to name the alkane part fully. All right, you need to name the alkane part fully. So what this means is I will write this down as butane fully. Why would I do that? Okay. All right, guys. This is my third video in a row, so I'm completely and extremely sorry for writing that as butane. That's a mistake that you just can't ignore. So definitely, there should be a strong penalty for calling ethane butane. My bad, my bad. All right, so apologies. There are two carbons involved. This is ethane, not butane. Don't make this mistakes, please don't. All right, so we name the alkane part fully, and I'm naming that fully, and that's basically ethane because there are two carbons involved. Okay. Now, because there are two hydroxyl groups over here, what we're going to do is we're going to use the term diol. And the way that we're going to use it is we are going to write diol over here. And right over here, we're going to mention on which carbons are these two OH groups attached. And you can number it in any way you like. It's still going to be 1, 2. So it's 1, comma 2. So the name of this molecule is ethane 1,2-diol. Now, when you read this, how do you interpret it? Ethane tells you there are two carbons in the longest carbon chain. Diol tells you there are two OH groups attached. Where are they attached? On first carbon and the second carbon, and this is what we are talking about. All right, let's move on to the second example. In the second example, I can see there are three carbons in the longest carbon chain, and so the name would be, again, we need to name the alkane part fully in case of more than one hydroxyl group. So I'm going to write this down as propane. Apart from that, we have three OH groups involved, and in case of that, we will use the term triol. All right, and so I'm gonna mention over here triol. Now I need to tell the reader where exactly are these hydroxyl groups attached. So you can number it again in any way you like. It's basically 1, comma 2, comma 3 triol. All right, so once again, let's go over it. Propane tells there are three carbons involved. Triol tells there are three OH attached, and 1, 2, 3 tells that one OH is attached on the first carbon, another on the second carbon, and another on the third carbon. All right. And then we move on to the third example. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbons attached. All right. And because there are 4 carbons attached, so we can say that this is butane. And how many OH do we have? We have basically 1 and 2. So we have 2 OH, and that's why I'm going to call it as a diol. Now, on which carbons? Now, I label this as 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And the reason I did that was because in this case, I'm getting the labeling of 1 and 3. If I did it otherwise, I would get 1, 2, 3, 4. I would get 2 and 4. I would definitely prefer 1 and 3 over 2 and 4 because that is generally giving us lower numbers. And so forget about this numbering over here. And so I'm going to write down 1, comma 3 diol. Now, in this case, do not forget that there's also a methyl group attached that we need to take care of. Now, as I've already said many times, that your CX bond or your COH bond is given a much higher preference than alkyl groups. So don't worry about the alkyl groups until and unless you're already done, unless and until you're already done naming the other part. All right. So because we are already done with the alcohol bit, now I'm going to start and talk about the CH3. This is attached on the second carbon and this is a methyl. So this is going to become 2-methyl butane 1,3-diol. So I hope you found this lesson easy. I try to make it as simple for you as possible. If you like the video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. One additional thing that I would like to mention is that all of these notes will be made available on our blog, so keep checking that. The link is in the description box below. You can find all of this over there. So till the next time, khuda hafiz, take care.